You know, Kia have come a tremendous way from where they started. I mean, they used to make crummy old Korean boxes, but now the level of luxury and refinement is making buying more expensive cars pointless. I mean, why would you spend twice the money for less standard equipment? I know I wouldn't. First, look at the interior. Not only does this compete with Japanese crossovers and SUVs, but I think it competes with most European models as well. BMW, Audi, Mercedes-Benz, Range Rover, Land Rover, I think this one competes with them as well. Now we can move on to the display technology inside this new Sorento. So over here in the gauge cluster, you have your normal set of tachometer, you have your fuel gauge, and also your heat gauge for your oil temperature. But right in the middle, you have a very nice LCD display panel. Inside the LCD, you have a whole host of information. On the outer side, you always have your speedometer showing you what speed you're going. But inside that display, you have things like trip information, media inputs, and also navigation prompts that corresponds with the main display in the middle of the car. Now we can get into the main display and the center stage of the new Kia Sorento. This is their infotainment system, and by far one of the best ones I have ever used. It's touchscreen only, but it is one of the most responsive and easy to use touchscreens in all the planet, I think. It is no hokey pokey display. You touch it, it goes, it's very fast, it's very responsive. Again, a very good job on designing the software. Now this system is running the UVO system, which means your voice with Microsoft Sync. Now they did a whole refresh for 2014 and sort of redesigned the whole user interface. It makes it more clean, makes it more grown up, and very easy to use. Now, one of the best features of this UVO system is the voice recognition and command system. You can blurt out full street addresses and it will figure it out from there. So let's give it a try.
Please say a command after the beep.
Find address.
Find address. Please say address without state name or say change state.
235 2nd Street, Nashville.
Line, please.
1. You see, it could actually understand between 235 or 235, and you can blurt out a whole street address and it will figure it out from there. It's very clever, it's very easy to use, and it's very simple as well. Now, if you don't want to put your destinations in by voice entry, you can also have the option of putting points of interest or an address if you wanted to do that way. Now let's talk about some media sources for the Kia Sorento. You do have satellite radio, which is very standard. You also can go to media. You have CD, DVD, USB. You actually have an iPod connector right here in the center console. You can also do Bluetooth streaming and Bluetooth hands-free. And there is an auxiliary input if you don't have an iPod but do have an auxiliary jack. Now, some of the interesting features on the new UVO system is the ability to hook up to your iPhone and actually send diagnostic information, send maintenance information. So if you go to the settings and info, you could actually do vehicle diagnostic. It'll ask you to actually sync up to your iPhone or Android device. You also have Parkminder, which means it will give a GPS location to your iPhone or Android device in the app so you can remember where you parked your car. I'm not really going to dive into the driving characteristics. I mean, what would you expect from a crossover SUV type vehicle? It's not the fastest nor the most sporty car in the world, but this V6 does have a lot of power. That brings us to a very odd point, Kia, because Kia does sell a 4-cylinder version of this same car. You would expect better gas mileage, a little bit slower around the town on the highway, but expecting better gas mileage to the gallon. But you're wrong. The EPA estimates are about the same between the V6 and the 4-cylinder. I mean, they both are direct injection engines, but this one is a smaller, it's not the 3.5 liter anymore, it's a 3.3 liter engine, and it offers roughly the same EPA estimates on the highway and especially in the city. And with this type of vehicle, you just want more extra power in case you're towing something, in case you get stuck in a little bit of off-roading dirtiness. You definitely want the bigger V6. Now, the driver aids are pretty generous around this whole cabin. You have your rear camera, parking sensors, you have your blind spot warning monitor systems on the side view mirrors. They're not active, they're passive systems, but they're still there. Pricing the 2014 Kia Sorento is a very easy task indeed. Forget about the 4-cylinder. More power for this type of vehicle is definitely the better thing to do. You'll definitely want all the great and usable technology, and that starts at the EX trim level of this car, which is around 30 grand. If you want 4-wheel drive, drop a couple MPG, and add about $2,000 to the price tag. But you could get one of these fully loaded for under $35,000. If you're still dismissing this car because it's a Kia, I think it's time to change that.